And even though I had all this theater background, I had all this. So my first jobs in Los Angeles, which were pretty fun, and I don't really regret it because I learned a lot. I worked as an assistant to other actors. So one of my very first jobs was for John Travolta. I worked as his assistant. Then I worked for Ted Danson, and then I worked for Kevin Bacon, and then I worked for a producer whose name you might not know, but he actually worked on some movies in Oklahoma. But his name is Barry Osborne, and Barry produced Lord of the Rings, little movie called Lord of the Rings. So on that film, and I would always tell people that I was an actor, really. I'm doing production work, basically bringing people coffee. but I would say, listen, I'm really an actor. And so on that movie that I worked for Barry Osborne, I took the bull by the horns, put myself on tape, and he gave it to the casting director, then the director, and that movie was my first big movie in L.A. It was called Wilder Napalm. You probably never saw it, but it was where I met Dennis Quaid, actually. And Dennis Quaid, we'll get to Reagan. Dennis Quaid really helped me get on Reagan. But that was the first movie, and it was an interesting movie because it was the first movie written by Vince Gilligan, who created Breaking Bad and all these big shows. And so, I did that movie, and then the same week that I booked that movie, I booked Chaplin, which at the time was a huge movie. Mm-hmm. And Robert Downey Jr. played Chaplin, but everybody wanted to be on Chaplin. So I got those movies back to back. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to make a living as an actor. Hell or high water, I'm going to do it. I didn't do the movie Hell or High Water, which is I wish I had. Taylor Sheridan, but anyway, that really was the beginning of me making a living as an actor. And then should I keep going? Let me tell you how I got here.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
so I start making a living as an actor. Grateful. I'm still grateful for every job, because the hardest part about being an actor, as Michael Caine said, is the in between. You really get paid for the in between because you don't know where your next job's coming from.
The uncertainty.
And but I was able to do it, and then somewhere around the early 2000s, I started making my own films.